At least 4 families have been forced from their Corktown homes in the Queen and River area after concerns about the safety of their townhouses. CTV's Janice Golding has more.
Well, that's just our air conditioning, which is just falling apart because the soil is just going down. We're sinking.
His home was declared unsafe yesterday, so evacuee Gerardo Perez isn't supposed to be there. He isn't supposed to be showing us the buckling ground beneath his front steps, the broken pipes in the basement,
This part ended up sinking down.
or the cracked, unstable ground behind his garage. But then Gerardo says this wasn't supposed to happen to his home.
Nobody wanted to be responsible, right? They said we were responsible, so it was back and forth. And then
As we first reported yesterday, Gerardo's family, along with 3 others, were evacuated over fears their homes were unsafe. The retaining wall beside their homes had buckled, and neighbors blamed the construction below. Now they've gone 2 days without water. 2 days without answers.
I'm furious. Bloody furious. Wouldn't you be?
And many, like Elizabeth Selwood, are beginning to lose hope.
Like, we don't have any redress. We're just residents who we don't have the money to fight a court battle for 6 or 7 years. And how do we fix this in the meantime, you know? How do we do that?
The residents' own city councillor hasn't been much more successful.
That over the last 6 weeks, we have called and called and called the owner and asked him to meet directly with folks here, because this has been an eroding situation and it didn't just happen overnight. And there was a refusal.
they admitted after we talked to them. I mean,
Gerardo does have a letter from the construction company, Shorecase Foundation Contractors, dated this past September. It doesn't admit to any guilt, but it does request his permission to repair exterior damage to the home. Now, I've just spoken to the project manager for the site, Gus Argyropoulos, and he says they're now working with the city to assess the situation. He says they've actually hired an independent engineer to do an assessment, and once that's completed a little later in the week, he says they will meet with the city once again to determine what their next steps are going to be. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Christine.
Thanks, Janice. What's next for these Corktown residents? There's no word on when they will be able to move back into their homes. The city will now begin the process of determining who is responsible for the damage.